there, welcome to BoomerTube's podcast, the place for baby boomers to come play with your own age group. I'm Deb, and I'm your host. Before we get into today's show, I want to make sure to let you know that we would love to make your story a part of our podcast. So please visit our website for info on how to submit stories or music. If you have a unique, funny, or poignant anecdote about growing up, your teenage years, music, cars, dating, your parents, anything you think our listeners might enjoy, send it to us. We're boomers, and most of us were raised by the greatest generation, an exceptional group of people who deserve our enduring respect. And with that, here we go. It started when we were little, our fascination with water. We may have been walking to school in the rain and spotted the perfect mud puddle, perfect to test the boundaries of whatever rain boots or street shoes we were wearing. Or we may have spotted the perfect ditch by the side of the road, calling our name to come discover what treasures it held. Frogs, water skippers, who knows what was in there? Our fascination with water seemed to start at a very early age. Summertime was all about creating a sprinkler fantasy world in the yard. Running through the sprinkler, spraying your siblings or friends with the hose, or, if you were really innovative, coming up with the perfect water slide. Kids' version of extreme sports. Which forever ruined the lawn, at least for the remainder of that summer. Running through that sprinkler was my thing. It was the equivalent of an Olympic sprint. Well, except that time when I was at the neighbor's place and didn't know they'd strung up a line of electric fence for their sheep next to their yard. The kids and I were running through the sprinkler, and I backed right into that hot wire. Wet. Yeah, that was a shocker. Nothing beat the excitement of water balloon warfare. Filling those balloons from the garden hose and having epic battles on a hot summer day with balloons that exploded like tiny H20 grenades. That garden hose also came in handy again for making the culinary concoction known as mud pie. If your parents took you to the beach, you could try your hand at sand castles. I never built a sand castle. I was always too busy trying to keep the ocean's waves from knocking me over while building up the nerve to go a little further out. How about begging your parents to let you wash the car? Any excuse to don the swimsuit and get wet to cool off. There weren't many swimming pools in the towns where I grew up. There were a handful of community pools, of course, but not many people had personal pools. There was an apartment complex with a pool near our house, and I knew some kids who lived there. They would invite me to come over and swim. The adults couldn't drag us out of that pool. Dark clouds? Lightning? Nah. We'd stay in until they kicked us out. As we got older, our relationship with water changed, but we were still drawn to the beach and the pool, only now our main goal was to relax and wind down from the work week. Now the order of the day wasn't so much water balloons as it was a comfy beach chair and a cold drink. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are few things funnier than serious adults discussing global affairs while floating on an inflatable swan. And we found more ways to entertain ourselves with water. I grew up in an area with lots of streams and lakes and a fairly good-sized reservoir, so we had options, not to mention the beautiful Boise River that runs right through town. For decades, one of the favorite pastimes of Boise residents, young and old alike, has been to float the river, a relaxing and fun way to spend the afternoon. Inner tubes, rafts, anything that floats will get the job done. If you have a floating cooler, even better. If you were plotting a sandcastle comeback, this time it may have involved entering a contest and using engineering blueprints. Admit it, you know someone like that. We traded rubber swans and ducks for real kayaks or canoes, paddling through serene waters, pretending we're exploring uncharted territories instead of just the local lake. Tim got certified to scuba dive in the mid-'80s and was so taken with it that I decided to get my certification too in 1999. We celebrated by going to Cozumel, where Tim had gone before to dive. What an amazing underwater world. After several years of hitting it hard to grow our business, the Timinator and I treated ourselves to a hot tub and installed it on our back porch. What a way to de-stress, and what a treat for a tired bod. Some of our best memories in that spa were when it was snowing like crazy. We sat out there with adult beverages and umbrellas laughing like a couple of idiots. So much fun. So our relationship with water has evolved. From playful adventures as children to more relaxation-focused activities as adults. In the grand scheme of things, whether we're launching water balloons or discussing retirement plans by a pool, one thing remains constant. Water is our eternal friend. It's got a way of making us feel like kids and adults at the same time. Yes, we need water to live, but it also remains a source of joy and tranquility through our lives, adapting to our changing needs. If you've listened to our previous podcasts, you know we like to showcase original music written and performed by our listeners. We play this episode's song here, then post it at www.BoomerTube.com, where you can download it. The name of the artist and their contact information is posted there as well. This episode, we are so excited to welcome our pal, Kevin Etherton. Kevin lives in Maryland with his wife and their 3 children and works in Washington, D.C. at the Smithsonian Institute. Born and raised in North Idaho, Kevin grew up in a small log cabin his dad built on an original homestead property. It was there that he learned to play guitar and write music. With deep ties to the people and places of Idaho, Kevin is a frequent contributor to the Idaho Songwriters Association online monthly forum. He also recently traveled to Boise to play a set of his original music at an event in Idaho City. Kevin makes his way back home as often as possible, and you can still find him with his guitar, playing and making music in that same little log cabin in the woods. Kevin looks forward to retirement in a couple of years so he can focus on his songwriting. To acknowledge Kevin and his wife Laura's 30th wedding anniversary, Kevin has written a song for the event. So please give a listen to his song called 30 More.
First time I saw you at that dance, first time I looked you in the eyes, never thought I'd even get a chance. Then you smiled at me, to my surprise, went and talked well into the night, talked about each and everything. I walked you home close to morning light. Never knew back then what that night might bring. Look at us now, where we once began, when a country boy met a city girl, took her by the hand, and you took a chance on this lonely love-struck soul, and you stepped with me to a path to see where this would go. 30 years feels like just a few. I'll always wish for 30 more with you. First date, Center Harbor in Baltimore. For the time we walked hand in hand around that lake, I knew right then I wanted to see you more. We never knew the story that would make. Look at us now, where we once began, when a country boy met a city girl, took her by the hand, but you took a chance on this lonely love-struck soul, guided me to a path to see where this would go. 30 years feels like just a few. I'll always wish for 30 more with you. 30 more will go by even quicker. Come a time it'll be just us two. When the candles burn to just a flicker, I'll still wish for 30 more with you. 'Cause 30 years feels like just a few. I'll always wish for 30 more. I'll always wish for 30 more. I'll always wish for 30 more with you.
You just heard 30 More. A big thank you once again to Kevin for sharing his song with us. And happy anniversary, you two. We'd love to hear him play original music, so if you're listening and you're an artist, I hope this inspires you to send us yours. We like to keep it classic like rock, folk, country, or the blues, but if you've got a tune representing another genre or an instrumental, we'd love to hear it. You'll find guidelines for submitting music to us at BoomerTube.com. Please make it a recording with a group or an instrument. Put on your best voice and let us help you showcase your work, because you never know who might be listening. And as we mentioned at the top of the program, we would love to make your story a part of our podcast. I would love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed our podcast, it would mean a lot to us if you would share it with your friends and family. Once again, the website is BoomerTube.com, and you can email me at BoomerTube@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, come play with your own age group. Deb out.